This is Pratik Rao. I'm here to explain a PowerPoint on the greening of the purchase department, and it's based on Starbucks. So basically, Starbucks uses an environmental strategy and sustainable sourcings to, well, basically reduce the carbon footprint and enhance their business. Here we can see the presentation overview. First things first, uh, we're gonna explain like responsible sourcing, how they source out, how they practice programs and supplier criteria for ethical and sustainable coffee sourcing, like how they manage the coffee so that in a way that doesn't harm the environment and stuff like that. And on the second part, the environmental standards, supply chain practices focused on biodiversity, resource protection, and waste management, uh, which is like obviously going to be a big problem if you don't, if you're just going to ignore it. Carbon reduction strategy, green logistics, that means like the trees and stuff, local sourcing, and carbon neutral initiative, something that uses less harmful gases towards the environment. Cost saving and ROI, how environmental initiative deliver profitable and long-term operational saving. One of the best important framework tool that Starbucks incorporates is its cafe, coffee, and farmer equity. Uh, This program is essentially the flagship ethical sourcing program of Starbucks and directly connects to textbooks description of supplier selection criteria, including supplier performance in terms of environmental and social issues, in addition to product costs, total quantity, basically. Environmentally, CAFE, like CAFE, practices measures conservation of biodiversity, protection of natural resources such as water, soil care, and use of archaeochemical. Supplier of coffee must fulfill all of the environmental criteria in order to become approved suppliers. It's obvious, therefore, one company chief consideration, one company's chief consideration in raw material process, such as its star product coffee, it needs to align with the cafe practices. Otherwise, they would not be able to produce it. Like it, basically like the for a emerging business or from a thriving business, product quality is meant to be high, superior coffee quantity. But to get that quality, how much of an ethical problem are you willing to subdue or keep up with? Economic transparency, fair pricing, financial accountability, and also like social responsibility, worker welfare, community development. When you're a big company like that, kind of need to focus on these things too. And then extended responsible sourcing, commodities, tea and cocoa programs, palm oil sustainability. These are the few programs that Starbucks initiated. Starbucks, they have been committed to using 100% responsibly sourced palm oil in compliance with the RSPO standards. True, though it is evident that Starbucks understands all the commodities influencing its environmental performance to be produced through ethical means of sourcing. These are all like means of sourcing that you use. Carbon footprint reduction strategy. So, mm, when you're a business working on, well, basically $1 million of profit every day, like you're making products, you're selling them, uh, there are bound to be like huge carbon footprints of them, of your uh business, let's say. So these are some of the things that Starbucks imply to reduce their carbon footprint. They usually have local sourcing initiative, sourcing food products locally, reduces transportation distance and associated carbon emissions. from food miles improving like supply chain efficiency, green logistics, route optimization, fuel conservation through digital platforms, and partnership with biofuel and hybrid vehicle. So they use less fuels, they use hybrid vehicles, and with biofuel, it's basically environment friendly fuel to say the least. Sustainable equipment investment, they usually have investment in energy efficient espresso machine, LED lighting, and water conserving fixtures. Significantly reduces like the direct energy and water consumption. Carbon neutral coffee, green coffee offsetting through improved farm practices, reforestation projects, and carbon absorption initiative, achieving carbon neutral sourcing goals. On side flow, we can see that how the sustainably supply chain standards reduce the reduce or improve the environmental concepts we have. Cost cutting. So for water conservation, code of conduct, comprehensive supplier codes mandating explicit directives on sustainable energy use, waste management, water conservation practices, energy efficient requirement. On waste reduction, they have settled on life cycle assessment, LCA principle guide sustainable packaging, recycled material, and FCS certified sustainable forestry commitments, which basically means like you need to follow a certain set of cycle to take just to have your waste like moved from certain place. You need to it needs to be recyclable and it needs to be renewable. Well, certified sustainable forestry sourcing compliance, product life cycle, environment impact reduction, and 100% source sustainable sourcing. So it kind of shows like how you go from this to this to this and then to this. Like all of the parts like do help build up the sustainable sourcing altogether. Shade growing programs. On this slide, we can see environmental initiatives, ROI, and cost saving that they do. So basically, we can see here like there's a chart given to us. There's like the annual saving by the initiatives that they took, and it clearly says profit through sustainability. So even though it might seem they're doing too much to sustain like the environment and stuff, but they are making the profit too. Equipment efficiency has been growing, waste reduction is much more, local sourcing is much more, green logistics is more, packaging savings, they save more money on packaging, and water conservation. Water conservation is also like around the 10%. Starbucks demonstrate that environmental initiatives deliver significant cost savings through total cost of ownership and operational efficiency. Energy efficient equipment reduces electrical consumption and long-term maintenance. Waste reduction decreases for raw material processing and disposal cost. Local sourcing minimizes transport expenses and supply chain risk. Over here we can see the strategic cost optimization that they do. Equipment investment on ROI, higher upfront cost for energy efficient. So the total cost of ownership goes to these three optimization process. Supply chain production, cafe practices ensures stable supply of quality coffee, protecting against economic losses from supply shortages and price volatility. Volatility. Material cost stability. Sustainable packaging using recycled materials reduces vulnerability to virgin raw materials, price fluctuation, and market volatility. And on the last slide, we can see that Uh, what could they do more to improve? So, first, aggressive reusable programs should be implemented so that they get more the expanded deposit based on reusable cups to cup systems to significantly reduce single-use plastic waste. I think they're already doing this actually. Yeah, I'm sure I actually wrote it on my Word project that they were doing this. Expanding local sourcings, which they are currently trying to. But like the more you expand, the more you increase your you local help, environmental help, all that stuff. It will really help. Source food and beverages to further reduce carbon footprint and support regional economic development. Yeah, this not just the urban areas. We gotta improve, support the regional areas too. Plant-based menu focus, promote prominent plant-based menu option to reduce agricultural environment impact and support sustainable food consumption patterns. Supply transparency, implement advanced supplier carbon tracking and reporting systems to enhance accountability and enable data-driven sustainability improvements. Yeah, hopefully, I I could maybe I helped you understand like this concept a little bit better. I know the explanation I gave was kind of vague. Uh, that's been me, Pratik Rawal. Um, I know it's gonna be uploaded on YouTube, but I'm a student in your program. Just stop recording. Yeah, also like I don't have a group, it was just me. Like so yeah. This is it. Maybe I should write my student number too. Give me a sec. So yeah. This is my project. I'm not in a group, but hopefully yeah, thank you.